Thank you for taking the time to watch this series. I hope it was helpful. I do want to say that the way in which we do these videos is all of a piece, and then we drop them separately. And what I mean by that is it takes time for us to do them, and you might have noticed by my wardrobe changes that we go from winter to summer, typically when we do them. But we don't drop them until all of the series is done. And so we drop them on a periodic basis, but it's all finished. And I just mentioned that because I've had folks who have given me comments about what I might do in the next video, and they're done. So I just want to let you folks know that. Also, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share why I think Jesus is God and why I think the scriptures are truthful and can be counted on. And we have gone through the brief theological / philosophical understandings in terms of the Trinity to begin with. And the recognition that, okay, we don't understand it, but on the other hand, if we understood everything there was to know about God's nature, well, he probably wouldn't be God. And I did spend some time talking about the connection between the Old Testament and the New Testament as the Christians divide their Bible. And all of the Old Testament prophecies, over 300, that are fulfilled in the life of Christ that we find portrayed in the Gospels. And I also went through the archaeological evidence, the historical, contemporaneous statements, and the statements of Scripture themselves. And the fact that the New Testament was clearly written shortly after the time of Christ. And as I mentioned, we know this because of how many copies were made in such a brief period of time, and how much of the New Testament is recorded in the writings of the church fathers, which begin 50, 60 years after the life, death, and resurrection of Christ, and carry on through the first century and the second century. So they had copies, or a copy of what we know of as the New Testament. And we clearly understand how well and how accurate the history of the Old Testament is because of the Dead Sea Scrolls that were discovered in the 40s and date from at least 300 years before Christ. So, which is probably the most relevant and important archaeological discovery verifying the truths of Scripture. So, all of that, I think, points to the fact that the Gospels are accurate in regards to who Christ is. That is, he is God who is worthy of being worshipped. He is a member of the Trinity, which we can't really get our heads around. So I will leave it at that. Thank you again for watching this series. And please like, subscribe, comment. I plan on doing my next series on the power of the gospel, in particular how it relates to our everyday life, which is the focus of my Christian counseling career. So that's my plan for the next series coming up. Thank you very much for paying attention to this one.